Hi fashion lovers, welcome back to my channel. This is the second and final part of our corset tutorial. Now in this video, I'll be explaining in detail how to apply your measurements to create the back pattern of a corset, and I'll be sharing the video of the finished product. So please like, share, subscribe, and let's get into it. So when taking measurements for the back of the dress, there are a few things to factor in. You know, the front of the dress already has this curve, and there's going to be, either you're using an eyelet to make holes for the rope to lace the dress, or you're using your nylon cord on this part. So there's still going to be some places where you don't need fabric. For the back of the dress, I usually would place my fabric, ensure that it's touching wherever the base, this tip is touching wherever the base of the fabric is, and then you place it like this. So I'll just then mark out this curve. Now with this, it guides the other measurements I'm to make. So already I know my bust measurement is 37, so that means the back is obviously 18 and a half, folded into two, 9.5. So 9.5, this is 9.5. And for my corset rope or lace allowance, where it's going to be behind, I usually, for the bust area and bust side, I usually use 3 inches. So 3 inches means if it's opened up, this is the wideness, which is 6 inches, is going to be the wideness of where one eyelet meets the other eyelet, and then your rope is in between the 6 inches length. So 6 inches, so therefore it means 3 inches folded. And then for the waist area, I take it down a bit because I like my my corset lacing to appear in a V format. So the wideness of the space at the bust area should thin down as it's coming to the waist. So what happens is I'll take out 3 inches, which is now 6.5 inches, and I'm going to try to get 6.5 inches. So now with 6.5 inches, I'm going to also make like a dart behind the dress at the back. So which is what, 1 inch, so 7.5 inches. So I'm going to mark where 7.5 inches meet, which is here. So this is 23 inches, which is the base of the corset. 18 inches is my half length measurement. So I'm also going to mark that out. And this is my underarm measurement, which is 9 inches. These are the 3 key points. I talked about how at the waistline, I would usually allow 1.5 inches. And then at the bust measurement, I would usually allow 3 inches. So putting that in mind, just because of how this fabric is folded, if I mark 1.5 inches inward and I mark 3 inches inward, it's not going to give me enough room to get my measurements for the back of the dress, just because I'm going to actually cut out this part. So what you do as someone who is trying to save fabric is you take out the differences. So the difference between here and here is 1.5 inches. 3 inches and 1.5 is 1.5 inch difference. So instead, I would use this as where the waist measurement, where the rope or the eyelet is supposed to start at the waistline, and then I'll just take out 1.5, from here instead. It gives me the exact same measurement and the exact same V I'm going for, as opposed to if I just marked 1.5 inch on the waist inward and then 3 inches on the bust part here, which is still going to give me the same line, but the only difference is I'm going to now cut out all this fabric instead of if I just applied the difference, and it will just be this part to cut out. So this part gives me room to save fabric and achieve my measurements. I'm going to mark 4 inches all the way up. I'm trying to get to the center of my back measurement. So with that done, I'm going to draw a straight line that connects all the 4-inch dots that I've made. So now I have a 4-inch perfect measurement all the way here for this side of the fabric. So the reason I'm getting this straight line is because for the top of this, the back of the corset, I'm going to mark out a half inch allowance. So say I put this here, what I'm looking at is half inch outside these lines, half inch outside this line, just like that, half inch outside of this line, and on the waistline to half inch outside of this line. Now I'm going to connect the half inch from this point. I'm going to draw a line to meet the base of the corset here, and I'm going to draw another line to meet the base of the corset here. So basically this is what the dart for the back looks like. So half 1 inch dart, which is half, has to go out upwards and then reconnect as it goes back towards the base of the corset top. We're going to cut this out now too. So I'm just going to spread out the patterns and show you how they will be joined eventually. So this is the pattern laid out. Cut it out on something like a brown paper. Use it to carve on a brown paper, so you can always have the pattern. Now to create the pattern for the covering of the cup of your dress, measure the tip to the bottom, which is 6.5 inches, and you also measure the wideness of your cup, which is 8 inches. So it means here to here has to be 6.5 inches. Definitely add your allowance, half on top, half on the bottom, which is an extra 1 inch. So that's basically 7.5 inches in total. And the side obviously is 8 inches. So into 2, you're going to get the 4 inches. Place your cup folded. You would already get like what the joining line and should be like. So at this point, you mark. The only thing you need to do at this point is to add your sewing allowances. So for the joining at the center, you could add, I usually just add a 1/4 inch allowance, but you could add half inch. So for this other part, the end, you add half inch allowance. And then for the top of the cup, you also add half inch allowance. Sew this line together and, you have your cup cover formed. So there's also the 2-inch band that I usually like to place here. So the 2-inch band is just basically like still from the fabric that you just cut, right? So the cup looks like this, and then you mark out 2 inches all the way around it. And that's it, you have your 2-inch band. I joined the 2 sides that I cut out, and now I'm going to attach the 2-inch band to cover this part of the cup. So I joined the patterns together, and I also ran my Vaseline boning on the lines I made, extra additional lines plus the joining lines. According to this illustration, this part and just the top part of this skirt are going to be made with plain fabric, and the bust and the sleeve and this part of the skirt is what will be made with the Ankara. Now I use the Ankara for as the lining of this dress, and I used a plain orange fabric for the front. So it's going to be orange, and the Ankara here and here. So I'm going to close all the areas around the dress, and I'll come back. So I made the 2 sleeves of the dress just as it appears here. So I'm going to join everything together and show you guys the finished look. So this is the final result, guys. This is what the front of the corset looks like, and this is what it looks like behind. So if you use this pattern, you're definitely going to get this result. So let me know if this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.